Make sure my posts are kind of somewhere even. They probably won't be. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Beauty is the Beast, the podcast, where we basically encourage you to practice self-love, practice healing. And y'all, I got somebody with me. Y'all see her, Olivia. Say what's
Hello.
up. She's like, what's up, y'all? Y'all, I had to literally stop her because every time she comes into the studio, she starts just talking. And she just starts giving away these just golden gems that I know will be so good for the podcast. And I'm just like, wait, just stop. I haven't even hit record. Like,
I'll be ready to go.
Like, come on. Wait on. Like, she just comes into the studio talk about it. So, Olivia, how you been?
I'm good. I've been good. How are you?
You ready? You been ready?
I'm always ready.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm good. Girl, I know you are. Y'all, so Olivia and I in April, I honestly don't know if they're going to even get to see that episode, but we definitely got to get back together again.
At least some clips.
Just talk about some of the stuff that we talked about the last time we were together in the studio. I know. Yeah, now they can get some clips. Now y'all can get some clips, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to like upload everything. But when I tell y'all, Olivia was dropping gems, like, yeah, like I'm shocked. And so for those of y'all that don't know, me and Olivia, we've known each other our whole lives, basically. And I'm trying not to laugh because
daycare and apple juice days.
So it's like for us to see each other's growth is just, it makes me so happy. Because we done been through some craziness.
Yes.
I mean, there's no way. There's no way you could go through years with somebody, live and do life with somebody for years and years and don't experience just craziness.
I don't know.
And,
like the craziness
maybe
that we
one
had
day
to deal with,
we can like talk to them. We probably won't go too.
The craziness, the crazy we had to deal with it. I wouldn't wish it on nobody. That's all I'm gonna say. I wouldn't wish it on nobody.
I wouldn't. On scale of 1 to 10, it was about 150.
Like, negative 10 out of 10. Don't recommend.
Like it wasn't. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe one day we will talk about it because it might help somebody. It might help somebody.
It might,
but that ain't what we hear
conversation. That is a deep conversation.
It is. It's real deep. But today we ain't here to talk about that. Today we're here to talk about Olivia's anger issues.
Look, I don't have anger issues. I just had to take anger management.
She doesn't. Yes, she just had to take anger. She's not an angry person, not by nature, y'all. She real cool. She's super laid back, but you better not play with her. You cannot play. Okay. When you come, you're going to come correct.
You want to play, we can play, but you know.
But she did think that she ain't going to back down, and she going to have something to say.
Always.
Period.
Always.
Okay. But she really did think that it would be beneficial to talk about because, first of all, when you go through your healing journey, when you go through even grief, you're digging up things and feelings come to the surface because you're faced with a lot of truth for me. And anger can accompany that. Like, if I'm thinking about some trauma that I had to go through with my abusive ex-boyfriend, and you're telling me I got to deal with that, and then it comes up or I'm triggered, I'm pissed. Like, I'm pissed. What did you learn in your anger management class that you feel like can help somebody that maybe has a trigger that makes them angry. Like for me, I'm triggered. Like it makes me angry when I think about somebody putting their hands on me. And I be wanting, like, okay, I don't even know if should even tell this, because they might come and like commit me. So I might not should tell that. I might not should. No, I might not need to say that. But I be having some angry thoughts. So if you could give me some advice, personal, just for me.
Okay.
I'm here.
So let's first let me explain how we got here. Okay, so let's start there. I don't consider myself an angry person, but there was a situation that brought something out of me, and long story short, I slapped somebody. They may or may not have deserved it. We're just gonna leave it at that. And he, at his 2 times my size, called the police on me, and never been in trouble. So to keep my record clean, had to pay a fine. And I also had to go to anger management class because it was considered domestic violence. So and not to put that lightly, because even going back on my situation, I shouldn't have allowed somebody to get me to that point. So I take responsibility for my actions. Right. But at the same time, he didn't have to call the police. But either way, keep my record clean. I had to take anger management. What made me angry was they told me I had to take anger management because I'm like, I don't need this. I'm not an angry person. Why am I here? So no lie, the first day of class, I was just irritated being there because I was angry. I was angry that I was there. I was angry at the situation. And so what I would say, just what I've learned, I mean, anger is an emotion. You really can't go through life just ignoring it, but it's more so knowing how to handle it. And also realizing, why does it make you angry? Is it because of your actions? Is it somebody else's actions? And just also, is that anger helping you move forward, or does it pull you back? Because honestly, I feel like if you're getting angry about something, then you're pulling yourself back into a past situation. And if you're trying to move forward, moving forward is growing. And instead of being angry about it, what lessons did you learn from it? What can you take forward to make your future better than being angry about what happened in the past? And also, if it's because of someone else's actions, the main thing I learned, don't take it personal. Because no matter how someone treats you, it's got more to do with what they got going on internally. They may project it onto you. They may make it feel like it's your fault. You may feel like it's your fault. But if you're angry because of how someone else treated you, that's when you have to step back and be like, okay, that's something they got going on. Yeah, I had to take the brunt of it, but that is not my problem to bear. And if it's you're angry at your own actions, reflect. What about your actions made you angry? Use that to move forward in a better way rather than holding on to resentment and anger in the past. Because whatever it was, you can't go back and change it. You can't go back and fix it. So is it really worth wasting your energy being angry about something that you can't do nothing about now, or taking it and learning a lesson from it so that you avoid situations like that in the future?
That's good advice. Let me tell you what it was. So I was in an abusive relationship last year, 2022, in the summer. We were together for 3 months, and this joker decided to put his hands on me on my birthday trip. So yeah. Yes. Yeah. And
he's alive to tell the story?
He's alive to tell the story. It was the scariest thing I have ever experienced in my life. Like the look in his eyes. And he was not somebody that I would expect to have that much strength. That's why I feel like something had to be wrong with him, because that strength like came from, it had to be demonic. So 2 weeks ago, I was at Lowe's minding my own business, sitting in my car, and he comes up and he's looking into my car. and I looked up and it scared me. He kept walking, but the guy that works for him was with him, and he was speaking to me or whatever. And it was just, I was so triggered. Like, I had a panic attack the whole way home. And like, I just went through a flood of emotions, like anger, like just why do I still feel that anger? And my mom was like, Faith, surely you didn't think you would never see him again. And I was like, that's absolutely what I thought. That's exactly what I thought, that I would never see him again. Like, but then I'm just like pissed because why did that trigger me? Like, I hate panic attacks, number one. But the fact that that joker triggered me to have a panic attack like that, like, why my body got to attack me because of something that he did? So that's why I'm like, I really get randomly angry at that situation from time, like, it just really pisses me off because, you know, hindsight is 2020, right? And you're just like, man, I should have, you know, maybe moved this way and that way. Like, but when you in it, it's something completely different. Like, so
because you don't have that time to really sit back and reflect the way you can after the fact. When you're in the moment, it's emotions. And from what you just told me, it kind of, what it sounds like you said that you're angry about was how you reacted, how you allowed it to trigger you. And for that, yes, I say be easy on yourself. I mean, that's a traumatic experience. So it's not something that you can, and you're human. No matter how much we try to be the bigger person, we try to grow, we're still human. We still have human emotions. So with that, be easy on yourself. Understand that was a reaction that you had. You don't want to do that no more. So maybe, okay, next time, if I ever see him again, rather than immediately go, maybe say, okay, I'm going to take 10 deep breaths to get myself together before I start panicking about it. But also, like I said, allow yourself grace. Like, that's not something easy to go through. And I can only imagine, like, sometimes the whole reason I had to take anger management, granted, at this point now, I look back on it and I'm grateful for the class. I'm not grateful for the $1,400 I had to pay, but I'm grateful for the class. But even then, sometimes, even sometimes I look back and I'm like, I'll still get upset. Like, this boy really called the police on me because I slapped him for speaking very disrespectfully. I mean, maybe one day we'll talk about it, but it's still a situation that I almost myself walk on eggshells to talk about, just because I don't want to deal with the energy or retaliation from the person if they were to ever come across this. And so I don't have time for that, because that's one thing. Protect your peace. Protect your peace.
Absolutely. So absolutely.
Don't allow things to disturb your peace. And again, if it's something that you're angry at yourself about on how you reacted, or even just being angry about the situation, one, that wasn't your fault that he did that. I don't care what you did. I don't care if you got smart. I don't care. Unless you physically assaulted him and he felt like he was in danger of losing his life, there's no reason for a man to put their hands on a woman, unless it's to restrain you from stopping from physically assaulting them. So for that, I say, I can understand anger at the situation and even reflecting on it and being angry, but I still say it's best to not, because that's a lot of energy that you're giving to someone who don't deserve it. It's energy you giving to someone that don't deserve it. And that's something that they need to deal with. Give yourself grace. You got out of the situation. You didn't stay. You didn't stick around and continue dealing with it. So even when you get angry, think back. That wasn't my fault. That was whatever he had going on. That's what he had going on. He took it out on me. I removed myself from the situation, and now I'm grow from it. The red flags I saw that I might look past, I'm not going to ignore them red flags no more. And allow yourself to react. Allow yourself to feel what you feel, but at the same time, don't let it overcome you, because it is the past. Don't give too much energy to stuff that you can't change and you can't do anything about. Take it and grow from it.
Exactly. And you know what else I learned is that anger is a secondary emotion, right? So usually when we feel anger, it's really because we either felt hurt, embarrassed, or like something triggered, disrespected. Like it's anger is your reaction. This is what you're going to get out of me because this is how you made me feel. And it just, I am angry that I allowed myself to react that way. I do know, and I'm grateful that I've had enough counseling to know that that was not my fault. That was not my issue. He obviously had done it before. And then it took me walking away for people to kind of have the courage to tell me that he had done it before and that they've actually witnessed him doing it before. And it was it was a very crazy season.
No, that one in particular.
Well, I know all about it. I know all about it. So let's kind of segue from anger that comes with triggers from domestic violence. And can we segue into anger that is associated with grief? Now, I don't know if you've ever dealt with the anger that is associated with grief. For me, I was introduced to that when my dad died in 2021. And I did not know that I was grieving. The anger that I just felt, like I tell everybody, I'm like, even though obviously, he didn't raise me, he lived in a completely different state. But as I got older, we got a whole lot closer. And so it was like I was grieving what could have been. It was me grieving just what will never be. It was just me, like, honestly, what I had to realize, and me and April talked about it in one of the earlier episodes, I was really angry at God because I felt like he took away the one man that truly loved me, what's the word? That truly unconditionally loved me. And the anger behind that, like, now who am I going to call whenever I'm like, and going through some type of like breakup, and who going to tell me that I ain't the crazy one? Like, like that to me brought on just a different level of anger. And so for someone out there that might be experiencing anger that is associated with grief, do you think that you would be able to kind of speak on that? Like, do they even touch on that in anger management?
They actually didn't. I will say that wasn't one of the topics that they really covered.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can necessarily relate to anger with that type of grief.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't even know if I have a situation in my head, but I don't know if it compares. But that is a good one, because that is a completely different type of anger. Because
mm-hmm. It is.
And then at the time, and you're not angry at a specific person, because it's almost easier when you're mad at somebody else that you can, kind of take it out on, even though you shouldn't. It's easier if it's something physical that's there that you can get your hands on. That's different than like an anger with something greater than anything that we are because of what's going on.
Yeah. Right.
With that one. So question, how did you handle that? Are you still handling it, or how did you handle that? I'm curious.
Recently came out of that anger because it was recently revealed to me that I had been grieving in an unhealthy way. Before my dad died, I was, and I was vegan. I was, strict vegan, like super disciplined. And I feel like I lost all discipline. Like I didn't care. Like I wasn't drinking. I turned to drinking, and I turned to just, that was my way of, I guess, dealing with the anger, was just kind of rebelling. It was like to be a rebel. Like, so that was my way of dealing with it. And then one thing kind of led to another when I was on the phone with April, and I was just going, I had like hit a breaking point, and I was going off about men to her. And I mean, I'm cussing, and I'm just like, why do men, they get on my dang nerves, and men think this. And April, you met her. She's very like, oh yeah, I understand. Like she let me just vomit all over her. And out of nowhere, her boyfriend came and just like kissed her on the cheek. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna let you go. Cause you don't need to hear me cussing about me and your man. So we got off the phone, and I felt like that's when I got the revelation, like, you've been bleeding on your best friend. You've been like throwing your bitterness up at her, not only her, but even on like social media platforms where you've been giving your opinion, but it hasn't been coming from like a non-biased place. Your opinion has been coming from a broken place. Well, then I began to dig deeper. Where did that broken place come from? And then I began to, well, God, this person did that to me, and this person did that, and then that person did that, which broke my heart. And then he reminded me, you gave them access because you were grieving. In that year of 2021, when my dad passed away, the people I gave access to would have never had access to me if I wasn't grieving. If I wasn't like my guards were completely down, my discipline completely down. So just in an effort mentality, just super rebellious. And so I let all these people in, and it began to stack up because, like breaking up and the trauma and the whirlwind of anything. Yeah, added layers on top of my grief. So I'm dealing with the top layer, but the bottom layer is the root is grief. You didn't handle your father passing away well. Like, you grieved differently. You completely decided to go and buy like big old bags of Oreos and eat them all. You completely decide to start, it started off with wine, and then it just started to like Jack and Coke. You completely just went and now it's like tequila, like, which I haven't been drinking in a while. I'm trying to like kind of fast from that a little bit, but it's like it gradually got worse, just like, each situation, the people that I was given access to gradually got worse. But that's how I was processing with my anger. And so now when I realize, oh, I was grieving unhealthily, let me grieve in a healthy way now. And so now I realize, okay, obviously God didn't take away the only man that could ever love me unconditionally. That was just me and my brokenness. That was just me feeling that way. Like, realistically, that's not what it was. I had to really look at the situation for what it actually really was. I was a little girl that was hurting that her daddy was gone. Yes, he loved me unconditionally. Yes, he would always, be the one that could lift me up. But at the end of the day, that hurt. And I'm the type of person, like, I don't really know how to handle emotions well. Like, I can cry. I don't like to cry in front of people, but I can cry. But, like, how I'm supposed to heal this? Like, healing it is different. Healing is really, really, really different. And so right now, I'm still kind of working through it, but I feel like now I'm kind of doing it in a healthier way than before. And I realized a lot of that bad stuff that I went through was only because I gave access to things and I dropped my disciplines because of the hurt I felt.
Well, there's a couple of things that I want to say on that. Earlier, you said that anger is a secondary emotion, and I agree with that, because usually anger ain't the main thing. You're mad about something. What is it? I think that's the biggest thing, is when you get angry, well, what are you angry about? Like, what is causing you to be angry? Like, is it grief? Are you just really sad? And instead of dealing with that sadness, turn into anger? Because sometimes it's easier to be angry than sad. Like, and then just getting to the root cause and then addressing it. And then also, I'm a big proponent of what you put out is what you get back. And so that's why I always try to like go through and figure out what type of energy am I putting out. Just like you said, you were angry. And so that was being reflected in your actions. You didn't care as much about stuff, and you also allowed people in. And then again, that just attracted more negative energy and piled on to what was already the underlying cause, which was the grief. So, and I think you can do that with any emotion. If you're sad, well, why am I sad? Like, what is the root cause of me being sad? And sometimes it's not as easy to figure it out. And it takes digging deep inside of yourself to understand, well, why do I feel this way? Because there are situations, not necessarily dealing with grief, but I'm a single mom, and, you know that, but I'm a single mother, and my son's father is just not there by choice. And, you know, sometimes never mind, let me not. But anyways, but sometimes I get upset and I just be angry at him for certain things. And then I have to remind myself, well, what is it that I'm angry about? Well, I'm angry or I'm actually hurt that my son has a part of him that he don't know nothing about. Even when this person lives less than 10 minutes away. Like, I mean, he doesn't know that we pass a house that he stay at every day we leave school. And I don't tell him that. And sometimes that takes over because I'll get upset. Like, it's not fair that I have to give up so much to do what I need to do as a parent, while he's able to just live his life, pretend we don't exist, ignore everything that's got to do with us. And so that is a situation that I've sometimes still, like, when certain situations come up, when my son is like, well, where is my dad? And even one thing that I feel like I'm gonna have to deal with later in life is a conversation that we were having. We were just doing like family trivia, because sometimes I just test him, like, okay, who's my sister? Who's my brother? You know, what are your grandparents to me? And he asked me, he was like, where is my dad? I haven't seen him in a long time. It's been like 4 or 5 years. Like, and I didn't even realize he was keeping count. And
wow.
And then he shocked me because I don't know where this came from. And it took me by surprise because the way the sentence was going, it took a left turn. And I was like, because he was like, I really hope he's not out there somewhere living life pretending that I don't exist. This moment, I'm starting to get really sad because I'm thinking he's finna say that would make me super sad. And he was like, because that would make me very angry. Oh, ooh. I'm like, okay. So I had to deal with that. And that in that moment, I realized, okay, I was kind of prepared to deal with him being sad about it. But I'm like, oh, he's a fire sign. And he comes from 2 fire signs. And there's 3 fire signs in the zodiac. Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo. I'm a Sag. His dad is an Aries. He is a Leo. So he is fire made from fire. I'm like, oh my. Now, at that moment, I was like, okay. And again, even in my mind, it was almost like, okay, I can deal with anger better than sadness. Again, sometimes it's easier to deal with anger than that. But then I started thinking, I'm like, well, dang, I don't want him going through life harboring anger because of someone who don't even deserve it.
Right.
Because again, that leads to different decisions made from that energy and how you feel inside. So I kind of soothe the situation. I don't lie to him. I don't necessarily, but I also don't talk trash, because at the end of the day, that is another side of him. So I'm never going to just talk negative about him, his father, to him. So I was just like, he's working on becoming a better person. When he's a better person, that's when he will, that's when he will be ready to be in your life. I put it like that, left it that. He was okay with that answer. But again, it kind of goes off topic of grief, but at the same time, it makes me sad. And I think that sadness kind of turns into anger because I can't do nothing about it. I can't do nothing about it. I can't make him do nothing. I can't make him be a better person. But at the same time, it's like, well, dang, you get to go live your life, do everything that you're doing, while I have to make the sacrifices that a parent makes to make sure that their child is in a good position by myself. And so,
Now, I want you to know that grief does not just include somebody that has passed away. Grief you can grieve someone that's still alive. They say divorce is like a death. And so they say, you can grieve a living person. You can grieve a lost relationship.
I agree with that relationship that he will probably never have with his father. Sometimes I even, and again, even going through anger management, again, it's coming back and realizing you are human. It's more than anything is realizing the emotion that you're having and addressing it rather than letting it continue to build up. So even I have to catch myself. I'm thankful for the class, because when I start feeling that way, I can catch myself and pull it back a little bit and be like, okay, let me step back, take a breath.
Speaking of the sweetie, there he is.
Hi, my name's Aiden.
Hi, Aiden. You act like you have seen Fefe so many times. Is it because the hair is different?
He's introducing him.
Change your hair every time. Is it because the hair is different?
Yeah.
Because remember,
it's a different color.
When is Fefe's birthday? Do you remember?
October 2nd.
Not October 2nd.
October 3rd.
No.
October.
You don't remember the day?
October 7th.
Yeah. You remember what year she was born?
Yeah.
1987.
So we were almost there. He had the number that started with an S, so we were close.
I mean, 2nd, 7, it sounds the same. Yeah, absolutely. Aiden, it's so good to see you.
You remember seeing her? She was the one walking around with you at Chuck E. Cheese, remember?
Yeah.
I had red hair then. My hair was red.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably why he doesn't recognize me. My hair was red. They were calling me Ice Spice. Yeah, they were calling me Ice Spice at Chuck E. Cheese. It's okay. I mean, I wasn't
You made
upset.
your cameo. Can you close my door?
Okay.
Thanks. He's so nosy. He's so nosy.
That's so funny.
He is so nosy.
He is so cute. Look, just like you. I cannot, it really blows my mind how you have a little human with your whole face. He has your whole face.
What I will say is he's a perfect mixture. It depends on who you know, honestly, because people that know his dad more than me, they don't think he looked nothing like me. And so
Oh, wow.
So he really is. It depends on who he's standing beside. But
got you.
But yeah, as
I believe that.
Like you were saying though, you can I believe, yeah, you can totally grieve relationships. And I think that's one of the things. And it's not even my relationship. I don't give a about him. But I do grieve the relationship that my child doesn't have with his father. And sometimes I get upset about that, but then I have to come back and think, well, what's best for him? Would it be better for him to know somebody that might cause, more mental and emotional damage that he as a child have to deal with and grow up with, or me just internally, feeling sad about that and handling questions as they come along. But I feel like I'm getting off the topic of anger and I'm drifting away. So I'm gonna bring it back.
You're not getting off the topic. That is all relevant because number one, you are grieving and it makes you angry at the relationship that you feel that your son will never have. And then also it's that he deserves, and it makes him angry as well because he's grieving that as well. Yeah, he's grieving that as well. And that is just number one, that is awful. I feel like if a man has a responsibility of if a man brought a child into this world, then he needs to step up just as much as the woman does. And that's just, it is what it is.
It's one of those things where I know there's all types of arguments back and forth about baby mamas and baby daddies and child support and all this stuff. But that's one thing, usually in most situations, it's the father that can walk away and just pretend nothing ever happened. Don't exist. Not there. Don't have kids. And no one bats an eye. But if I went and dropped him off somewhere and started pretending I didn't have a kid, well, didn't you have a baby? Where your son at? Why you doing this? So yeah, it's a lot of situations like just thinking about stuff like that do make me want to start getting angry. But again, I think a big thing, think about the energy you want to put out. Do you really want to put out angry energy? Because I'm one of those, I think the way that energy works, I know a lot of people try to make it mystical and woo-woo, but the way energy truly works is if you're angry, the decisions, you're viewing the world through an angry lens. If someone does something to you that's accidental, if you angry, it's going to probably make you angrier. Even if it was an accident, it's an accident, but you got angry energy. And so that's going to reflect the entire way you view the world and other people's actions. And also, when people sense that you angry, it can make them defensive, and then they get angry. Because you got smart with them for no reason. Now they defensive because they wasn't even feeling no type of way, and here you come. So don't put out the energy. Don't contain energy that you're not wanting to put out into the world and get back from other people, because it absolutely will come back to you. Same way I feel like karma works. If you're a crappy person doing things to people, eventually that's gonna come back to bite you in the butt. Not just because you're a crappy, That's true. Not just because you're a crappy person, but it's if you keep doing stuff to people, eventually you're going to do it to the wrong person, or it's just going to put you in a situation that you might not be able to get out of. So always with that, I don't want to go through the world being angry and harboring that energy because I don't want it back.
Right. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Well, Olivia, I think we pretty much wait, what is happening?
What's happening? What happened?
Okay, it's still showing that we're recording. I keep getting these pop-ups and I'm like, wait, what is happening?
No, we didn't almost made it through.
Shit. Like, we don't want to put come on. You basically don't want to put that out there. Like, number one, anger is a secondary emotion. It's usually because you're feeling something deeper. Number two, be careful about putting that energy out there. And for you super saved people, you know, the Bible says you reap what you sow. You want to sow something or you want to reap something, you sow it. It's the same thing. And y'all know y'all believe in that. So it's just like, because, you know, some people be like extra about that karma word, but it is 100% true. You really have to watch what you put out there. And because I know I'm not an angry person by nature, but I know that when I was in my season of just my rebellion mode and I was angry, I did not receive the best for me. So I'm glad you touched on that. I'm thankful that you went to anger management too. I'm thankful that you slapped him. I mean, I don't condone violence, but I'm thankful that, you know, I feel like
if I would have known I had to pay a fee and go to class, I would have got more out of it. But, you know, that's neither here. I don't condone violence.
Right.
Again, let me say that I have to take responsibility for my actions. And in that moment, I allowed his words to disrupt my peace to where I acted out of character, and I had to handle that responsibility for what I did, regardless of what he did. And I think that's another thing to take away. Regardless of what somebody do to you, the only thing you can control is your reaction and your action. So
that's
one
right.
thing I'll say, don't allow people to make you angry because of whatever they got going on in their life to make them the type of person that they are. Protect your peace. Don't take things personal.
Absolutely.
Even if it's personally directed at you, it's their action and what they're doing. So don't take it personal, and also don't allow people to make you angry, because then that disrupts your peace. That makes you look at the world through an angry lens, and that attracts more anger your way. Don't let somebody else's angry energy make you an angry person where you start attracting the angry energy too. It's just like we said, it builds up.
Right.
Address the situation.
It does.
Address whatever it is. Why are you angry? Figure that out. And you may not figure it out as soon as you sit down. Well, I'm angry. What am I angry about? It may take a while. You may have to do some deep digging.
Exactly.
You may have to do some journaling to figure it out. But you may not know. But address it. Realize that you're angry about something and then address it. You can do the one thing that you have control over is your response and your reaction. Just don't think about it first. Let it simmer. Don't just automatically react. Think about what you're doing, because that's about the only thing you can control. You can't control how other people take you, but you can control what you put out into the world and what you allow in your world.
That's good. Y'all, on that note, we're gonna go. Y'all, Olivia, where can they find you? Where can they follow you?
I have actually created my new page, so you can find me on Instagram, Threads, Twitter, or X, however you want to refer to it, under @Livs, LIVS content. Don't look up Livy's content on Twitter, because there's a reason I didn't pick that name. Livs, LIVS content.
Okay, @Livs content. Yeah, well, I don't even want to know, so I'm just like, okay, okay.
It's just not safe for work. That's all I got. Somebody caught the name before I could.
Oh man,
I know, I'm so sad.
Okay, got it. All right, y'all. I love y'all, and I will see y'all in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
In my life.